Mic check. Can I get a yurt?
You're
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. I'm your host, the only Kayla, and today I have Puerto Rican boxer Edgar Berlanga with me. Edgar, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Just got over victory uh
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago. I'm feeling awesome. I got the baby coming soon, so just prepping for that now.
I know a lot to look forward to. Now that was a really good fight. Definitely something I do want to talk about is you're so early on in your career and you have an impressive record. How does it feel to bring in so many viewers?
It felt amazing, like for me it was like now I feel like I'm always a main event fighter, and like I really the icing on the cake was my last fight, it really proved that then this kid really has main event status, the viewers, the fans, just the atmosphere in there, it was going crazy, and for me now is like my next fight, I want main event.
Mm-hmm. And you're definitely on your way. Like I said, you have an impressive record. With your most recent fight with Nicholson, what was that like getting into the ring and realizing because your thing is first round knockout. So when you started getting to other rounds and realizing, okay, I haven't knocked him out yet, were you a little worried? What was going on in your mind? Like, oh shoot, I
Yeah.
could possibly lose this fight.
Like in the third round, like in the first, I was like, all right, because I was like, I'm gonna get him out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the second round came, and the third round, and I was like, damn, I'm back in the corner again. I was like, damn, like it hit me, like in the third, fourth round, I was like, damn, like this is crazy, because I never felt that before. Like the first round was cool, I got in, sat down, and then but then it hit me like the third round. I was like, shit, like this is gonna be a long night.
Yeah, but I mean, you ultimately got the win, so you still are undefeated, which is, great. What was that experience like for you though? Like you said, you were like, "Oh shoot, I haven't knocked him out yet," but lasting that many rounds and still winning, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it felt good. I got the experience. I felt how it feels to go rounds and actually get hit. I never really got hit until my last fight. And I didn't really get hit with crazy shots or I got hurt or anything. But I got touched more than every other fight. I had little bruise on my faces and stuff. So it felt pretty good. I felt good. The fans, I felt like my stock went up after that fight. Like I feel like the Puerto Rican fans, my people over there know now that we could go rounds. Also know that I could hold the same power as if I was in the first round or the eighth round. For me, I proved a lot of people wrong. Um, like just the doubters, if can Berlanga go rounds? Can he maintain the power? Is he gonna gas out and probably take a L something from being tired? And I just proved everybody wrong. I finished strong. In the eighth round, I hit him with a crazy shot, wishing that I probably had at least 20 more seconds left. I would have got him out of there, but it was like he got a pass.
Yeah, I remember I watched that fight too, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, he just got to knock him out already. He got to knock him out already. He got to take this win." But even though you didn't knock him out, your record is still immaculate. You're still undefeated, and like you said, you got a lot of experience. And I think people are realizing, like, all right, like he's definitely the next one up. Especially as I mentioned before, your fight brought in more views than the main event,
Yeah.
which is huge.
Yeah, and like I said, like when I got like maybe like five phone calls from Puerto Rico after the fight, and like there was people in the caseria over there, and they would have the projector in the hood, like watching my fight, and I was like, oh, like this is crazy, like damn,
Mhm.
like I'm almost, getting on Trinidad status and Kodo status and
Yeah.
Camacho status. It's just a blessing, especially me seeing that, and I'm back home in New York, I seen it too, like people in the projects had my like they had projector on and they was
Mhm.
drinking and hanging out and watching my fight outside. I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah, even out here too. Out here, a lot of people were definitely rooting for you. All the Boricuas, Boris go crazy for Boris.
Yeah,
So you definitely got our
yeah,
support. My whole family was rooting for you, and they had never heard of you prior to that. So they were like, "What? He's Bori from New York? Cause we from New York too." So they was like,
yeah.
"Nah, we definitely rooting for him." So I was definitely happy to see you win. So now your fight was 2 weeks ago. You had a really good fight with Nicholson. How quickly are you getting back into training? And do you have your eye on someone for your next fight?
Um, right now, like today, I'm gonna train at 6, so I'm gonna go in, not doing like crazy, maybe like do a little like running and stuff, just get my body back into it.
Hmm.
And then next week I'll probably sit down with my manager and then just figure out what fight date. I was thinking about fighting late July, if not late July, early August. I want to get back in there ASAP. I feel
Yeah.
like from my last fight, I just want to keep the fire. The fire is lit now, so I just want to keep that going. I want to keep the streak, not the streak, but I just want to keep everything going right now. Everything's hot right now. The pan is
Yeah.
hot. Everything's hot. Everything's cooking. So I'm like, I just want to keep it hot and keep everybody motivated, keep everybody going.
Yeah, definitely gotta keep it while your adrenaline is, is pumping. Definitely a good
Yeah.
time to get back in there. Now, what are your trainings going to look like going forward? Because I spoke to your manager and he did mention that you were going to be training, I think, in Kissimmee and also in Puerto Rico for some time. So what is
Yeah.
that training going to look like, especially now that you realize, oh wow, I can go several rounds. I'm sure your training is going to change up a little bit to kind of sustain that for your next fight.
Yeah. Now that I went rounds, there's a lot of things that I didn't like that I did in the fight, and I just want to correct it. I want to work on it. Just different type of things that I did in the fight, and going to the body more and using my jab and using angles, and just prepping out for 12-round fights. Because I know those big fights is around the corner, so I just
Hmm.
want to prep myself for 12-round fights and get myself ready. I know that now that it's good for me to get out the city, out New York, and just go to like Florida or anywhere that's pretty bit far from here, so I could just focus and just stay on task and stay dedicated.
Yeah.
Even though I'm dedicated over here and everything, but when you home, sometimes there's more distractions, a lot more things you have to do, and when you're in camp, when you're in camp, it's like you just training. From training you go back to your room, from your room back to training. So it's like there, and that. And back home here, it's like people call like, yo,
Yeah.
like come over here, let's go out to eat and this. And it's
Hmm.
like, fuck, like, I gotta diet and stuff. You could take one meal and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah. And also New York is fully opening back up July 1st. So it's best that you get out before it fully opens because then you're gonna want to be outside.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, yeah, we got to get out of here
Uh-huh.
because, and now it's getting even more crazy. Everything's just getting more crazy and more packed up. The
Yeah.
people is getting more crazy for me, and it's just insane.
Hmm. Now you mentioned that there were some things you didn't like that you did in your last fight. What were some of those things that you did that you really didn't like?
Like just using I didn't execute the jab more.
Hmm.
I feel like if I would have went to the body early on during the fight, I would have got him out of there quicker. So it was just that. My leg movement, I want to work on giving more angles, stuff like that. Is just but mostly the most important thing is my jab. I felt like I didn't execute the jab as much as I should. And I didn't go to the body as much as I should. Like I said, if I think about it, went to the body more in the early rounds, starting from the first, second, third, I think about the fifth, sixth round, he was supposed to be out of there.
Yeah. No, that's good though. At least you were able to look back and say, you know what, I could have done this differently. I could have done this better.
Yeah.
Which is only going to make it better for your next fight. Are
Mhm.
you eyeing someone right now who you would like to potentially fight, or you're still kind of like weighing your options?
Nah, yeah. Right now I was thinking about Gabriel Rosado. He been talking a lot of shit. So, I think we should make the fight happen. He's talking about that. My team don't want to make it happen, but for me, it's just timing. There's no rush. The fight, if it's there to happen. Right now, for my next fight, I don't know who we're gonna fight. But we'll probably pick somebody, decent. Probably pick another decent fight, and then I'm looking to go out with this year with a bang. End the year strong and for the people.
Now, you are again, I want to mention you are again undefeated. When you go into your fights, I'm sure there's always that doubt in your mind, like, oh my goodness, this could be the one that I lose and it affects my record. How do you kind of maintain a positive mindset and don't let that kind of overtake your thoughts?
Um, just staying positive. When you feed your mind with negative thoughts, then bad things happen. So for me, I switch it. I feed myself with positive, because obviously you can always have like negativity. that negative, it's always a positive and negative, you know, so it's always the negativity always gonna come in and try to take over your body, your mind, and your soul. But with me, I try to just, you know, cover that up with positivity and just cover it with, you know, law of attraction. If you think something continuously, if you believe in something, then it'll happen. So for me, I always say like, yo, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna be great, I'm great, I'm gonna be, you know, the people's champ. You know, and I just talk to myself over and over and over and over. And it's just a lot of positivity. So that way it overpowers the negativity. And then next thing you know, I'm shining. Just like I did my last fight, you know, even though I went all the way rounds and, you know, it came out the unanimous decision. But for me, that was my best fight of my career. And it was the best thing to happen to me. You know, we didn't get the knockout, but I knocked the guy down 4 times. And, you know, I just put a stamp on everybody and made everybody know like, oh, this kid is the real deal.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. So now I do want to talk about you represent Puerto Rico. You are Boricua. You have a
Yeah.
lot of support and fans in the Latin community. How has it been for you to see the outpouring of support from Boricuas, from the Latin community, and even so many celebrities like Anuel, CJ, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, George Lopez? I saw that also.
Yeah.
How does it feel for you to have the Latino gang definitely supporting you out there?
Oh, it's crazy, you know. Not a lot, you know, and you know this, Kayla. Not a lot of fighters, you know, especially Puerto Rican fighters, they don't even get this type of love. And it's crazy, you know. I'm getting love from everywhere. You know, you got Tracy Morgan. The list could keep going on and
Really? I
on
didn't
and
know
on and
that.
on and on. Yeah, Tracy Morgan is like you know, he's like my guy. It's my dog. Like right now. If I call him like, yo, Trey, I'm coming over. He's like, all right, come over. You know. So like
Wow.
with him, Fat Joe, you know, I created them two. I created a real close relationship, you know, and now and when, you know, we got some business going on now, you know, with Real Tano Muerte,
Mhm.
and he's gonna be putting, you know, they're gonna be having, you know, putting the logo on my trunks and stuff. So there's a lot of things that's gonna be cooking up with him, and
Wow,
you know,
that's
CJ's my
nice.
bro. Yeah, yeah. So it's something different, you know. His manager had called me like 3 days after before the fight. No, like 4 days before the fight, and was like, "Yo, you got a space for patches?" And I said, "Damn, I had one available, and it
For
was in the
you, I
front."
got you.
Yeah, yeah, it was one in the front because it was a logo. It was a company that like ditched on me. So I was like, all right, whatever. So it was open. So they wound up calling me. God is great all the time. So they wound up calling
Mhm.
me 4 days before the fight, and I was like, yo, let's make it happen. He was like, all right, cool. So I spoke to Anuel, and then they were like, yo, like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. I was like, all right, cool. We made it happen. And, you know, obviously that thing, everybody went crazy with that when they seen him, Moluco,
Mhm.
Chente, all like the big Telemundo, they seen it. It was like, wow, like this kid is something else.
Yeah.
And that went viral. So
Mhm.
then now, you know, they thinking of it like, you know, like, damn, like this is a good opportunity, you know, like for Anuel to come into the boxing, and then obviously me coming to the music, you know, and just do a little like collaboration and stuff. And, you know, I got CJ, you know, that's my
Yeah.
brother right there too. That's my bro, that's my brother. You know, he was at my baby shower and stuff. He performed and everything. You know, him, you know, that's another one. Like he my bro. So yeah, I'm blessed. For me, I'm just blessed, you know, Daddy Yankee and you know, all these guys that's like
Wow.
a phone call away.
Yeah.
And you know, they backing me up. But I feel like it's just because they see, you know, they see potential, they see something different. You know, they see a bigger Puerto Rican, like, you know, a lot of Puerto Rican fighters, they smaller, you know, they fight at 140, 147. You know, you got a Puerto Rican fighter that's knocking everything out, you know, that's 6'2", you know, from
Mhm.
New York, from Puerto Rico, and got swag. And it's just everything it just goes together and it makes sense.
Yeah.
So and then I'm humble, so I feel like it just draws in a lot of people.
No, yeah, I was looking at the outpouring of support the night of your fight, and it was crazy to see so many people at such a young age, and also so early on in your career support you the way they support you. And I always say Latinos support Latinos, and bodies show out for bodies. Like we go crazy.
Yeah,
I got my body flag right here. So we always gonna
yeah,
show out for our bodies. So I'm so happy
yeah,
to see you receiving so much love and support from, like I said, Latino gang and
yeah.
from like
Thank you for
celebrities too. But
yeah, for sure.
I also want to talk about you growing up. So you're from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, from Brooklyn. Yeah.
So what was it like growing up from Brooklyn, and what inspired you to want to get into boxing?
Um. Well, you know, I'm from Brooklyn and from the Lower East Side. My mother's from Lower East Side and from Douglas Project. You know, I've been around all over New York City, so it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to say I'm from somewhere because it's like I get love everywhere. But my dad had put me in the sport of boxing. I was 7. My mom and him was like, yo, like we need something for this kid. You know, he's like, you know, yeah, too much energy, too much everything. And my dad's like, all right. So my dad was driving one day. He stopped by a gym. His boy was was training a whole bunch of kids. And his boy was like, yo, man, if you got a son, bring him. He said, yeah, I got my son. He said, yo, so bring him tomorrow, man. He's all right. So he goes, yo, you want to box? You want to go to boxing? I said, yeah, like whatever. So he took me and I liked it. I was all right, cool. I went to the gym. I was doing like 3 times a week. You know, he'll take me just to like get me tired. And, you know, he noticed like I come out of the gym and I'm like knocked out. You know, I go home, I do my homework and I go to sleep. So he's like, oh shit, this is medicine. You know, like this is good for him.
Mm-hmm.
So then he started taking me, and then eventually they put me in a ring with a kid. And the kid, owner of the kid, he beat my ass. He beat my ass. And my dad came to the gym and I was crying. And my dad was like, yo, do you want to box? Do you want to box? You still want to box? And yeah, daddy. I said, yeah, I'm gonna kick his ass. So then my dad was like, all right, you're gonna box. So then my dad was, you wanna keep boxing, right? So tomorrow we're gonna come back and you're gonna fight them again. I was like, okay, daddy, put me in a fight. The next day I came back to the gym and I fucking beat the crap out of the kid, man. Like, and my dad was like, oh, like this kid got, you know, he got cojones, he got balls, man. And from there was like they was like, yo, we like your son. We want to put him in tournaments. And it was just only like probably like 6, 7 months, 8 months, and they already put me in the junior Olympics.
Wow.
So I won the Junior Olympics and I won like freaking like 15 fights straight. And then I started winning like national tournaments. And then it was just so on. And I'm here now.
And when did you realize, like, okay, like I'm really good at this? This is my calling. I'm gonna do this professionally.
It was like, I was like 15, I think, 15, 16, like 15. That I started seeing like, you know, like professionals you know, making money. And, you know, I seen like flashiness. I seen, you know, like just
Mhm.
everything about a pro. I was like, whoa, like, this is fire, like this is hot. And then a lot of people tell me like, yo, man, this kid is special, you know, like he got charisma, he has this, he has that. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I started believing in myself because, you know, I felt like but people was believing in me. So then I called belief in myself. And
Mhm.
then my father like really, really believed in me. And it was just like sky was the limit from there. Like after 15, it was like I didn't want to stop.
Mhm. And now we're both from New York. I'm from the Bronx. So I know growing up in New York City is not easy. It's very difficult. Do you believe that you following boxing and getting into that sport saved you from the streets and saved you from getting into trouble?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we come up, my family, you know, from the streets, you know, so it's like I've been around like the streets all my life. You know, I was in projects, shelter homes and stuff. So I've seen it all, you know, and like you said, you know, I don't know if I probably work a job or like it'll probably be 50-50, you know, because
Yeah.
for a kid like me, like, you know, like especially for anybody that comes from the ghetto, that comes from the hood, is like it's hard not to get drawn into that lifestyle,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not easy. But you know, for me, I feel like probably I would have probably been doing a 9 to 5 or something. If not, then you know, being in the streets. But you know, I thank God, and like I said, boxing chose me, and you know, boxing saved my life, and you know, I'm here now, and I don't think that any other sport or any other thing that I would have done in my life would have brought me to where I'm at now.
I think that's great that your parents put you in something and you were able to make something out of yourself for sure. And now you know
Yeah,
you make I'm sure you're
100%.
making them proud. I'm sure mommy and daddy are proud.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, they extremely, my mom just can't believe it. My mom is like, she goes crazy still because she's just like, she didn't take this serious. Like when I was
Mhm.
boxing, she didn't really take it serious. She thought it was something that it was a phase, you know, I was gonna something I was doing and then I was gonna drift off to do something else. But you know, now she sees that I'm here, my family is super duper proud, you know. Like Berlanga, the last name is strong, but it's also is like is like unheard of. You know, people never heard Berlanga before in the island. and that last name comes from Spain. So like I know I have, my background and my family, my ancestors from over there. It's just I know they're proud. You know, my whole family is I got a big Berlanga family, so I know they're definitely proud, because I'm like the
Yeah.
first person in the family to become this big and, put in the last name on top.
And now, you're getting ready to welcome your son, your baby boy. So
Yeah,
I'm sure he's, proud of you as well. Do you see yourself
yeah.
wanting him to get into boxing also?
Not like me, because boxing is hard. This shit is oh man, it's hard. But I always said like I want him in the gym with me. I want him to learn. I want him to learn how to fight. I want him to understand, the discipline and the dedication. So that way, if he wants to take up anything, he knows what it takes. It's just not. It's nothing easy in life. So other than boxing, I know there's other things out there that he could do that he could make a lot more money. You know, like I said, boxing chose me. And if, he gets older and, because of me and he sees me, he wants to be like me and he wants to fight and box, then that has to come out of him. I'm not going to force him. I don't want to put pressure on him or nothing. If he wants to box, then I'm going to just let him do his thing. I'm going to be there, support him. But if he doesn't, then okay, cool. Like we're going to do something else, but you're going to be in the gym with me. You're going to learn how to fight. You're going to learn the discipline. You're going to learn the dedication, the focus. So that way, if you want to be a baseball player, you understand it. If you want to be a basketball player, you understand it.
You are early in your career, but just by talking to you, you can tell that this is your passion. You're really good at it. What is your opinion or what is your stance on celebrity boxing? Because we're seeing a lot of people who are celebrities, who are not boxers, who are, getting into these big celebrity boxing matches. As a boxer, as someone who's doing this professionally, as someone who's, takes the sport very seriously, how do you feel about celebrity boxing? Do you think it takes away
Uh,
from the sport or it just doesn't bother you?
like now I'm starting to see like too much people doing it. Like at first I was like, it's whatever, I didn't really put no mind to it because I was like, it's whatever, like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. But you
Yeah.
got dudes, man, that really like, Jake Paul never boxed in it. But now you just got guys coming out of the woodworks now and they just like training and trying to they just following something that they shouldn't. And now it's starting to get annoying. That's like my girl was like, oh look, like it was a guy that's like famous on Instagram, and she's like, oh look, I think he's
Yeah.
gonna get ready to fight. And I'm like, I see, don't even show me that shit. But like, I'm tired of it already. Like, all these people want to pop out and become fighters now until they really get punched, so they get sent to the hospital. Then they're like, oh shit, this is not a game.
Yeah. They're doing well, Floyd's fighting.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if it's Jake Paul or Logan Paul. He's fighting one of them.
Logan. Yeah.
Logan. He's fighting Logan Paul. And Canelo recently spoke out and said, he doesn't agree with it. And that was, his opinion. But then also I do agree. I feel like now there's like an oversaturated of just people doing it and it doesn't make any sense. Like you have now you're seeing Instagrammers like versus YouTubers. They're doing a big celebrity boxing match. And then I don't know if you know that Lamar Odom is fighting Aaron Carter
Yeah,
in a
you
few
see,
weeks.
like it's just getting out of hand now. Now it's just like
And then yeah, Peter
people
Guns
just
and Cisco are
overdoing it.
fighting too.
Now,
Peter
who?
Guns and Cisco from Love and Hip Hop, New York.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like now that shit's just getting out of hand. It's just like I don't even want to watch this shit anymore. Like Jake Paul was cool, like with the YouTubers and stuff, doing a little thing
Yeah.
with the Triller and all that. But now it's just these dudes is just taking it to another level and they just trying to look for like, clout and
Yeah.
stuff and trying to make money. But it's getting already like overwhelming. I'm like, all right, like this is over. They overdoing it now.
I agree. I know I agree. I feel like the more that we glamorize celebrity boxing, we're taking away from the actual professional boxers. And people will then not want to tune in my opinion, to watch these boxing fights if they're like, why? When I can watch, my favorite YouTuber or celebrity fight. And you're taking away from the professional boxers who do this for a living and like this is their passion.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and but also, like then you have, the good side where you got people that never watched boxing before start watching boxing, and
true.
you know maybe out of 100%, maybe 40% of the people fall in love with the sport because they just like, oh shit, I never knew I like boxing. You
Yeah.
know, like me, like I never watched golf, right? And then I started watching golf, and I'm like, damn, like I'm starting to like golf. Like I wanna be a golf player. Like I want to try golf, and I want to
Mhm.
get it, not actually be a player, but like do it as a hobby.
Yeah. No, yeah,
So
that's
it's
true.
for me,
That's
it's
a
just
different
something similar.
Yeah, no, that's a different way to look at it. My last question is, what does your 5-year plan look like for you? You know, as a boxer in your career, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or where would do you want to be in 5 years?
5 years, I want to be already a multi-time millionaire. I want to have like 3 titles, 4 titles, or whatever, two weight divisions. I want to retire when I'm 30. So you figure 5 years, I'll be 29. One more year left. I should be
Mhm.
already at the top of the top, and I don't care where I'm at 30, whether I'm on the top, whether I'm on the bottom, I'm gonna hang them up because, boxing is hard. And, I just got to take advantage. I'm gonna have, my son is going to probably be 6 years old.
Mhm.
So, I want a bigger family as well too. And, I just want to, invest my money. I want to have a whole bunch of properties, rental properties, and just be a multi-millionaire, and just have my father retired already. My father should be retired already. My mother should be retired already,
Mhm.
and just live a comfortable life. That's what I want to do, and just enjoy my life after 30.
All right. Well, thank you so much for virtually stopping by, Edgar.
Thank you,
Tell
thank you.
everyone where they can find you and what they can look forward to coming up.
Instagram, real Edgar Berlanga, Twitter, Edgar Berlanga Jr., Facebook, Edgar Berlanga, and just stay in tunes, because my fight day is coming real soon. If not this week, next week, I should be having a fight day for the people. Either it's gonna be in Florida again or Las Vegas. We don't know yet, but we definitely gonna have fans, and we definitely gonna sell out the arena.